CRTV News, ici, toute l'info.
Officials of Cameroon's telecommunications are being groomed in Yaoundé on how to minimize managerial errors in the management of public property and curb the incidence of misappropriation. The 2020 official examinations kick off in Cameroon with the practical phase in both the Anglophone and Francophone subsystems of education. The city mayor of Kribi hits a bang on the table calling for a halt in urban disorder as he conceives a new development plan for the seaside resort. Those are our top stories. Hello everyone and welcome to the 7:30 news. I am Benn, MENO PUFONG.
Each of us must comply with the measures that have been taken.
You're welcome to the news. Prime Minister Joseph John Gute today received in audience the special representative of the UN Secretary General and head of the UN Regional Office in Central Africa, Francois Luceni Fall. Both men exchanged on the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic and on ways of relaunching the economy of Cameroon, as well as on the security situation in the northwest and southwest, as well as the far north regions of the country. Star Building correspondent Christian Cheatam reports.
The audience, which Prime Minister Joseph John Gute granted the special representative of the UN Secretary General and the head of the United Nations Regional Office for Central Africa, Francois Luceni Fall, provided an opportunity for both personalities to exchange on pertinent current issues. The handling of the COVID-19 pandemic and the approach to the post-COVID economic recovery plan in Cameroon and in the Central African sub-region was one of the subjects of interest.
I had the opportunity to discuss with the Prime Minister on the impact of the pandemic and also the support the UN and the international community are offering.
The socio-political situation in the northwest and southwest regions, but also in the far north region, which has been bearing the spillovers of the Boko Haram insurgency, also formed part of the discussions.
We discussed also all the initiatives taken by the government and the international community in order to address this issue to find the peaceful solution.
The Prime Minister and Head of Government, Joseph John Gute, and the Head of the UN Regional Office for Central Africa, Francois Luceni Fall, agree on the need for collaboration and mutual assistance in tackling challenges of global concern.
Security officials of Cameroon and Equatorial Guinea are brainstorming on the modalities for joint actions on defense and cross-border security. A cooperation agreement to this effect will be signed tomorrow in Malabo by Defense Minister of the both countries. On the sidelines of the deliberations by experts, the minister delegates at the presidency in charge of defense, Joseph Bitia-Sama, and Lejeune Mbela of external relations today paid courtesy visits to their Equatorial Guinean counterparts. Details with CRTV special envoy to Malabo, Albert Njembonde.
Like it was in Yaoundé, so is it in Malabo, as Equatorial Guinea practices a diplomacy of reciprocity, with its members of government offering a four-star reception to their Cameroonian counterparts. During the audiences granted Joseph Bitia-Sama by Leandro Bakale Congo and Minister Mbela by Simeon Oyono, the officials reiterated the commitment of Presidents Paul Biya and Teodoro Biangeman Bazogo to protect their common interest. Experts of the two countries have been reviewing the terms and references of the accord that will be signed this Tuesday in deliberations chaired by the defense chiefs of staff of the two countries. It is hoped that the implementation of the blueprint will put an end to the piracy, illegal fishing, and the suspicion and tension on the borderline that has strained relations between defense and security forces of the two countries for some time now.
Senior staff of Cameroon Telecommunications Camtel are being groomed in Yaoundé on the proper management of Commonwealth and other public property placed under their care. The 8-day training that is being facilitated by the Supreme Audit Office seeks to curb the margin of management errors in Cameroon and in the telecommunications sector in particular, as well as check the use of public utility. Details with Emanuela Vermeuil.
Righting the wrongs in the management of public property so that government assets are well secured is what Camtel and the Supreme State Audit Office are after.
The vote holders, the authorizing officers, the managers of Camtel will be able to know a lot of things as concerns mismanagement, as concerns the laws and regulations governing this enterprise, so that when Consupe will come again as an external auditor to control them, it will find a lot of improvement in the management of Camtel. This improvement is not just to please Consupe, but it is their role.
The trainees are vote holders in the telecommunications enterprise. The trainees, the auditors. 6 chapters on securing public assets will be their focus in 8 days.
This training is very, very important to Camtel. Being an internal auditor, I know what it means, control, auditing. It was important for us to come towards Consupe and ask them to clarify my collaborators and all of us on the legal framework that governs the management of a public entity.
Given that the law pardons no mismanagement errors even when due to ignorance, knowing what should be is the way out, and ties with the change management and customer eccentricity vision of Camtel that runs till 2024.
Telecommunications operators in Cameroon have been admonished to provide quality services to users while striving to improve on their products. Posts and Telecommunications Minister Minette Libom Lilinkeng, who made this appeal, said such is the sole guarantor of competition in the sector. The PNT Buzz was speaking at the extraordinary session of the Permanent Public-Private Consultation Forum of the post and telecommunication sector. Yoti Kalili Songe is here with details.
To attain consumer satisfaction in the electronic communications sector, experts insist mobile phone operators need to make room for healthy competition.
The special session of 20 July was convened pursuant to the high instruction of the Prime Minister, Head of Government, within a context where it was becoming important for public authorities to dispel all recent misunderstanding.
This extraordinary session of the Permanent Public-Private Consultation Forum of the Post and Telecommunications sector was the platform to highlight target objectives.
Identify the problems of the post and telecommunication sectors, tackle them effectively, and provide appropriate solutions within the most reasonable time frame to create a business environment conducive to the development and growth of the private sector, which is a generator of jobs and wealth.
For a more efficient output, these electronic communication stakeholders will henceforth meet quarterly to address consumer needs as well as strategize on how to further improve this.
The Speaker of Cameroon's National Assembly, Kavai Yege Jibril, and the departing Tunisian ambassador to Cameroon have been assessing the strength of parliamentary cooperation between Yaoundé and Tunis and how the two countries can break new grounds in interparliamentary exchange. Kavai Yege Jibril and Jalel Snoussi were exchanging at a farewell audience granted the Tunisian diplomat by the Speaker at his Ngouaikele cabinet. The state of trade exchange between the two countries also came under scrutiny. And the written part of the Baccalaureate General is just hours away, and all of the accommodation centers in the nation's capital are set for tomorrow's kickoff in terms of manpower and logistics. Government High School in Colbison is one of the several accommodation centers in Yaoundé. Here, measures to avoid the spread of the coronavirus in examination rooms and the entire campus are very glaring. By the time our reporters passed by, the secretariat staff were busy preparing and arranging examination materials, with the administration reassuring that measures have been taken for a smooth start come tomorrow. And as the minutes to the start of the practical phase of examinations organized by the GCE board ebb away, examination officials in the southwest region have been expressing satisfaction with the conditions under which the exams will be unfolding. The regional education officials have been visiting some accommodation centers to assess the level of preparations and the anti-COVID barrier measures deployed in these centers. Bridget Ndiep Asambiwan is in Boya.
The 2020 session of examinations are taking place within the context of the COVID-19 pandemic. For this reason, extraordinary measures have been taken to ensure candidates are safe from now till the end. PCSS Boya has 76 candidates for advanced level food science and nutrition, alongside 60 ordinary level candidates for computer sciences.
The first quarter is scientific experiments, where the children have to investigate different samples of food. The second aspect of the exam has to do with the cookery.
Bilingual Grammar School Muliko is to accommodate 311 candidates for the first 3 days.
We are writing food science and nutrition and computer sciences. For computer sciences, 54 are writing right away. By the end of the day, 108 would have written. With no cases of absences and the respect of the COVID-19 barrier measures, Southwest Regional Delegate of Secondary Education has commended both candidates and invigilators.
I am satisfied with the attendance of our candidates and the invigilators.
The practical phase, expected to run for at least 2 weeks, is done in groups for both the morning and afternoon sessions.
And all is virtually set in the Northwest region for the start of the 2020 official examination sessions. Over 15,000 candidates are expected to take the exams in the entire region in some 126 accommodation centers. Let's now join Eric Langmia Wufo in Bamenda, who says the exams will be taking place in strict respect of the anti-COVID barrier measures. Eric?
Not even the frequent power cuts could interrupt the smooth start of exams in GBHS Bamendankwe. Computer science is the first subject of the day, but power outage is the other of the day. School authorities make available standby generators for smooth flow of the exams. And as a means of curbing the spread of COVID-19, access into the hall is granted to a few.
Because of the presence of the COVID-19, it's impossible for us to have all our candidates right today, so they have been grouped into 3. The first set started this morning, 25 of them. The next set of 25 will continue tomorrow, and we'll round off with the last set on Wednesday for computer science O-level. The next subjects for today was baccalaureate exams. We've started with oral communication.
In GBHS Bamenda, just like in GBHS Downtown Bamenda, all expected ordinary level computer science as well as advanced level food science and nutrition students answered present.
We're sorry for that mix-up there. That was instead Karin Tosam reporting on the start of the practical phase and not on the preparations for the kick-off tomorrow of the examinations organized by the GCE board in the Northwest. And that was not Eric Lamia Wufo. Let's continue in our newscast now to say the candidates of the baccalaureate and probatoire industrial technique examinations in the 3 northern regions of the country, as well as those for the practicals of the GCE ordinary and advanced levels, also began taking their examinations today in their respective accommodation centers. Reports talk of a hitch-free takeoff in all the 3 regions, as Ewane Pole says in the following combined report.
Calm and discipline characterized the different official examination centers in Garua. The North Regional Delegate for Secondary Education, Hadijatu Sajo Saidu, after touring the Baccalaureate and Probatoire Technique Centers and the Government Bilingual High School Garua, where the practicals for the GCE Ordinary and Advanced levels are taking place, confirmed that the examinations are going on hitch-free. Meanwhile, in the Far North region, the Government Technical High School Marua is hosting over 600 candidates for the Baccalaureate Technique, with 2001 writing.
Today, that is for Baccalaureate Technique and Baccalaureate Enseignement General. We expect to have the results around the end of the month of August, if nothing extraordinary happens. By the end of September, we hope to have all the results.
Officials of the Office du Baccalauréat du Cameroun are upbeat. The results of all exams organized by the board will be published latest in September.
The wearing of face masks in public places will be mandatory until further notice.
And you're watching the 7:30 news on the CRTV. We are beaming live from Yaoundé. Public health experts of the Emergency Operations Center have been praising the government for the efforts it has put in place this far to limit the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic in the country. Efforts that have so far yielded positive results with a considerable increase in the number of recoveries. They say emphasis now is being laid on the 4 main regions that have been highly affected by the pandemic, and the essence is to stop the further spread of the pandemic. Baldwin Sama is standing by at the emergency center with updates. Hello, Baldwin. Tell me what's new today.
Good evening to you. Benn, MENO, PUFONG. Government's efforts to limit the spread of COVID-19 nationwide have been yielding a positive results. Positive results in the sense that we have many Cameroonians who have recovered from COVID-19 due to the fact that more and more Cameroonians have been respecting all the outline measures by the government to limit the spread of COVID-19 nationwide. And public health experts of this emergency operations center say one of the strategies they have been able to successfully implement that has gone a long way to reduce the number of persons tested positive for COVID-19 in the country happens to be the 3T strategy. They track, they test, and they treat. They track suspected persons, they get to test them, and those who have been confirmed positive, they are being treated. It has been successful in the 10 different regions of Cameroon so far, and what they're looking forward to doing in the days or in the weeks ahead is to effectively implement this 3T strategy in the 4 main regions highly affected, talking about the spread of COVID-19 in Cameroon. And these 4 regions are the center, the littoral, the west, and the east regions of the country. And they equally used the traditional press briefing this evening to talk about calling on Cameroonians to avoid stigmatization, avoid stigmatizing those who have been tested positive, and equally avoid stigmatizing those who have recovered from COVID-19, because anybody can get infected as far as this pandemic is concerned. And we should show a lot of concern to those who have a fragile health. Those with a fragile health can easily get infected with COVID-19, so we should continue being each other's keeper as far as this situation is concerned. So the take-home message from public health experts of this Emergency Operations Center, they are quite satisfied with government's report strategy so far, and they are calling on Cameroonians to continue respecting all the outlined measures laid out by the government of Cameroon. Together, we will stop or limit the spread of COVID-19 in Cameroon. Back to you, Benn, MENO, PUFONG.
Thank you very much, Baldwin Sama, for those updates. On to other developments in the news now. As the technical examinations rumble off nationwide today, CRTV's newsroom opens a series on technical education and its potential in impacting Cameroon's development and economic progress. For some years running already, interest in the sector has stepped up, with both government and parents encouraging the country's youth to embrace it as one that not only auto-employs but contributes in job creation, with domains like tourism, agriculture and industrial studies being the most productive. In our series opener, Beatrice Losamba makes an insight into some of the programs, their costs and the window of opportunities they offer. Beatrice?
The interest in technical education is said to be growing in Cameroon, which is known to have one of the highest proportions of secondary school education enrollment in Africa, capped at 21%. Known to traditionally offer studies in industrial techniques, tertiary science and technologies, studies are opening up to more offers tailored by the job market.
The state is still looking for domains where we can contribute to the development of our country. 3 years ago, the state discovered that we need many agents in tourism domain. That's why in our school, specifically, they opened tourism in terms of tourism agencies.
Said to be a little more costly, given extra costs incurred in acquiring personal working tools, technical studies is, however, known to be more rewarding in terms of the ease to integrate the job market.
We have topographers, construction engineers. When he finishes his training, let's say at the level of Form 4, he can be used.
Plus, there are possibilities for higher studies. The private sector's development also leans on technical school leavers, thanks to the practical and applied skills acquired, even at the lowest level.
And like I announced, that series will be running throughout the week. Traders in markets and major roundabouts in Kribi in the south region of Cameroon have been cautioned to remain at their sheds while carrying out their business transactions. The call was made during a sensitization campaign against urban disorder organized by the city mayor, Guy Emmanuel Sabikanda, as he prepares to restructure the seaside resort and give it a new facelift. Polycarp Atie reports from Kribi.
The fight against urban disorder in the Ocean Division, south of Cameroon, continues. The city mayor of Kribi, Guy Emmanuel Sabikanda, together with the mayors of Kribi 1 and 2, went to the field to see for themselves the situation in the town. For those city dwellers and hawkers who wrongfully occupy public spaces, they were warned and told to quit.
It is a phase of sensibilization, and we are waiting for perhaps 1 or 2 months to do what we want to do.
Some major roundabouts and markets like Kinge, Bello, Corbiton, and Mokolo in the oceanside city, where the public spaces have been invaded by the petty businessmen and women. The Kribi city mayor and his team warned the occupants as the arm of the law will be unmerciful on them in the next campaign. This sensitization phase, the city mayor says, will continue for the next months.
So we, the occupants of the place that they are going to renovate, we just have to respect.
Although the COVID-19 has almost hindered the vision of G. Emmanuel Sabikanda to transform the resource city of Kribi to a modern touristic destination since he took office as the city mayor of Kribi, he is determined to give the city a facelift.
And it is on that note that we are closing this edition. But before we go, a recap of our top stories. Officials of Cameroon Telecommunications are being groomed in Yaoundé on how to minimize managerial errors in the management of public property and curb the incidence of misappropriation. The 2020 official examinations kick off in Cameroon with the practical phases in both the Anglophone and Francophone subsystems of education, with reports talking of a hitch-free takeoff. And the city mayor of Kribi, like you just watched, hits a bang on the table, calling for a halt in urban disorder as he conceives a new development plan for the seaside resort city. And that's where we'll leave it for this evening. Thanks for watching. We'll be back tomorrow, 7:30. Good night.
In this connection, we should avoid stigmatizing.
CRTV News, ici, toute l'info.